Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Martin Foss with the First Lieutenant of the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department, Blake Tabor. Lieutenant, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Martin. Thanks for having me.
All right, it just continues. You have a couple of stories today. Let's start off, if we could, with the disturbance arrest that you all had. We'll start there.
Yeah, so this one is pretty shocking and very interesting. So again, on Friday, the 26th, shortly before 1 p.m., our patrol division received a call for service at a local business in the 200 block of West Main Street. That call was in reference to a male suspect that had brandished a knife inside of that business. Again, that's not the type of call that we hear frequently. So again, that's going to raise some red flags. Now, due to the nature of the complaint, we obviously contacted the Thibodaux Police Department to have them respond. And that's an action that we do on those northern lying areas that are close to their jurisdiction, especially when it's something as serious as this. So they responded. They were able to get a male suspect in custody who was identified as Pernell Miles. He's a 36-year-old male from Schriever. You see him photographed here. And again, once our deputies arrived, they learned that Mr. Miles was in custody. But the Thibodaux Police Department did have to get physical with him, unfortunately, due to his combative nature. So again, once our patrol deputies arrived, they began to learn that Mr. Miles entered that business and tried to solicit some services from the business, but unfortunately, he did not have the right information available to get those services. Ultimately started a disturbance with workers there and then departed. Returned a short time later, where he began to demand a vehicle to be given to him by workers. Again, started a disturbance, became very irate, and when they weren't able to provide that to him, he removed a weapon from his person and began to threaten workers. The situation got so intense, as a matter of fact, that several workers ran from the area to hide in interior offices inside that business. So it became very serious very fast. Ultimately, he retreated into an interior break room inside of that building, which is where authorities contacted him at the time they arrived. Ultimately, he was arrested and he was charged with attempted armed robbery, resisting an officer, and he also had several outstanding warrants that were unrelated to this particular case. But he's currently still incarcerated at our jail on a $261,000 bond by local judges.
Any idea if he was intoxicated or on a substance or anything?
That's still under review, and we're still looking at that potential factor, but there hasn't been any determination on that as of yet.
Let's move into your criminal patrol division. You also have a release you want to share information with us.
Absolutely. So, look, this is a unit that we have been dealing with and have been working through for about the last year. If you remember correctly, when they started all of the road projects out on Robinson Canal, we came to y'all with information that we were going to be circumventing our patrol division and really putting some additional resources, reallocating things to give us a better patrol response in those lower lying areas of the parish. So this particular unit, the Criminal Patrol Division, was a unit that was comprised in order to initially target those lower lying areas. You see the group of individuals here. And, you know, that began in that fashion, and then it just culminated into a lot of other things. So this particular unit is very, very proactive in their patrols, and they are making a huge impact in that lower lying areas of our parish. I'd like to take this opportunity to name some of the people that are in this unit. And of course, the unit is supervised by Lieutenant Chris Hubble, which you see him in the middle to the right. And then that is also supported by Sergeant Mike Navarre, Sergeant Aaron Henry, and Sergeant Landon Sigler. I can tell you that when we initially began this unit, Sheriff Saunier, again, created that with the wanting to get extra patrols in that particular area, but these guys took that and they really ran away with it. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too much, but we're going to be releasing some information this week about some very significant cases that this group of individuals has worked, that started down the bayou and then migrated up into the Houma area of this, that has to do with a lot of mini storage burglaries.
That was one of the things that the sheriff had on his bucket list when he ran.
Absolutely.
He wanted to increase that type of patrol.
It's about strengthening our patrol. And the good part about this unit is these 4 guys come from a vast area of law enforcement knowledge. You know, Sergeant Mike Navarre came from the Narcotics Division. Sergeant Sigler has done a large stint in Water Patrol along with Sergeant Henry. And then Lieutenant Hubble has done just about everything you can do in a patrol capacity with the Sheriff's Office and his lengthy tenure with us. So this unit brings a lot of experience and a lot of savviness to them in dealing with, you know, criminals of the general public.
Just for our audience, if we could bring the picture back up, can you go left to right for us, Lieutenant?
Yep. So all the way to the left, the really large male there is Sergeant Mike Navarre. Next to him is Lieutenant Chris Hubble. Then we have Sergeant Landon Sigler. And then all the way to the right, we have Sergeant Aaron Henry.
All right. I wanted to make sure that, you know, their family's going to be watching.
Absolutely. And look, these are people that constantly are showing their faces down the bayou. And we're hoping that, you know, our residents down in that area who have been so affected by thefts and everything like that, we want them to know that these guys are approachable. Please go to them, tell them their problems, and I can assure you that they will be addressed.
Y'all always do a great job. We appreciate it. We know y'all got a extraordinary amount of things y'all working on, and thank y'all for the transparency. We appreciate it. And I know the public thanks you also. So I'll see you most every week, but you're a good guy off the set, too. So
I try to be.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, Martin. I appreciate it.
All right, there you have it from the First Lieutenant of the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back with a lot more. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.